welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Beyond the Summit presentation of the International 6 Chinese Qualifiers. Here we have the second to last heat here in the group stage for China. Well, it's technically day 3 for the hub, but day 2 here for China on the LAN. So we're going to be seeing EHOME versus iG.V. Essentially, iG.V have to win this if they're going to be able to contest the playoffs. And EHOME, while I would love to say that they have to win this in order to contest the first place position, it's technically out of their hands. It's going to be Wing's going to have to be upsetted by newbee.young in order for EHOME's match to and result to matter too particularly. So we'll have to look into it, but I myself am Blaze with the wonderful OD Pixel going to be going into this wonderful game.
Absolutely, and it should be as well, because I think one thing I've come to learn, obviously watching ig.vitality yesterday, is that these guys, they're incredibly hit and miss. They can either have a stellar performance or they can get stomped on. So I'm excited to see which way around this one goes. As you said, you know, that this is part of the key of them getting that position that they are desperately after, having to win this one, and then vg.r, which is that the next series, do we know, or is that just coming later on?
Yes, it should be.
It should be the next series, because the next round is the last round, I believe, for China, isn't it? In terms of heats of games. But here we have it, straight in, and straight away, 2 bans from ig.vitality, the Void and the CM, which, if you've been following EHOME's drafts, isn't really too surprising.
Not whatsoever. The Faceless Void, I think, is a must ban. Old has been playing really well in it, and they will first pick at every opportunity.
Oh,
so definitely a first ban here, and then the other heroes, essentially you have to pick your poison of what you're going to leave in the pool, because yes, the CM is a pretty popular pickup for Fenrir, but he runs Oracle, he runs a lot of other good setup heroes. But most recently, it has been interesting, the Terrorblade play from ice, and the Kunkka play from Lanham. I expect at least one of those to come here in the first phase.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, I'd love to see a Kunkka game. You know, as you said, this is something that obviously EHOME been playing a lot. I've not actually had the treat of watching many EHOME games, so I'll be up for seeing a bit of Kunkka action, but we'll see indeed what they want to open with. Already going into the reserve time, just chilling out, taking it easy, not feeling any kind of pressure. Of course, noting as well their first 2 bans, nothing too surprising there. The Ricky lifestealer, the entirety of the combo taken out.
I'm actually quite surprised that they're deliberating so long of this, because Death Prophet first pick for iG.V should not be a surprise.
I was going to say, it's not like, oh, they picked DP.
Hero. Like, Fran plays this this is definitely his most played hero, I think 15 or 16 games in the past month now, and very high win rate on it.
I was going to say, what you said about 80% win rate,
yeah, it was like
but
82.
we then did see it lose again.
Yeah.
So it's gone down, but still, 80-ish% win rate over, I imagine it would be 18 games now.
So
over just the last month of period.
Yeah, so definitely OP's favorite mid friends, and definitely
Well,
something that EHOME are considering very dearly.
They're still in the lobby.
Is that? Are we?
I was wondering if they DC'd or
Clock froze up a little bit there.
Okay, a little bit of perfect world lag or something there. Yeah, instant 2 picks, Elder Titan and Mirana. I mean, Elder Titan, good hero all around at the moment in every region, and Mirana, again, looking at EHOME's draft, something that they do quite often.
Yes, and I think ET and Mirana are one of the best pairings. We actually would have to go back to a Vichy gaming lineup to think about when Mirana was last really a big pick for them prior to this meta patch.
Okay.
So they actually ran Mirana ET when ET was considered one of the worst heroes by the general public. So they were running it in fringe situations, and they were excellent at getting the Echo Stomps into Sacred Arrows. Like, they would hit these at like almost, felt like half a map away. They were finding these openings and finding these 5-second stuns that would just completely break things open. I would actually say, like, Abaddon is actually a reasonable pick and reasonable response here from iG.V. That or the Oracle themselves, because it does sync up with the DP nicely, and again, dispelling stuns I think is a very important thing. But
yeah, I think definitely some kind of support with a save for the DP, and yeah, Oracle is banned now because, as you said, would have been great with the DP, and of course it's pretty brilliant with Slark as well. Just getting the false promise down, and with that Shadow Dance regen, he's always back up to full HP. So a sensible ban here from EHOME, and again, I mean, the real defensive support bans, Omni Knight being banned out as well, and I can only imagine this is because potentially this is something that iG.V do run now and then.
I would say it's just more because it's theoretically a very powerful pick that EHOME don't have a great way to deal with. You want to go Axe on the Mirana first, you don't want to have to rush the Diffusal Blade, so at the right timing, Omni Knight could be a very significant thorn in your side when you're trying to go for these very heavy magical disables. So I mean, you get a repel on a Slark and he just starts going on you. You don't have an easy answer for that. So I think they were just kind of thinking about the optimal pickup for iG.V, and while they shouldn't have expected Super to pick that up, he does kind of tend towards those kinds of supports, the healing, responsible, strength melee cores that are supports that will be able to enable your cores to be very active. But from here, we have some questions. I mean, obviously, Old Chicken's going to be taking up the Mirana mid. He's been doing that a lot this tournament. ET, therefore, is going to be presumably the 4 position for Lanham. And then from there, we have a pretty clean slate. They could go a lot of ways with this, and the Disruptor is going to be their pick.
All right. I mean, Disruptor, again, I mean, he's kind of up there here at the moment with the Elder Titan TV picks. It's something that we're seeing in a lot of, especially the Chinese scene. And, of course, pretty brilliant against Slark. Definitely one of those heroes that can contain the little bugger. But, I mean, talking about the Mirana, is it pretty much guaranteed to be in the mid lane? They never run it safe lane or off lane. It's always Old Chicken.
I definitely think it's going to be Old Chicken.
Okay.
I think that's like a 90% situation. Yeah. And honestly, it's the best place for the hero at the moment. Like
it's not too bad against DP, is it? I mean, the DP shouldn't kill the Mirana unless she skills a point in silence or catches her post leap. I mean, you're always going to get yourself away.
It depends on the supports that iG.V used to rotate in, but I do think that Mirana is going to be able to at least survive the lane effectively. But yeah, so Bounty Hunter is one of those supports that will jump in.
Strong pick.
So essentially what you try to do on as the DP here is you try to get the Spirit Siphon in a high pressure situation for the Mirana. You probably get your boots pretty early. And then when you force out the leap, that's a long cooldown. It's like 30 seconds on the leap.
It really does start.
So that's when the Bounty Hunter comes in. And if there's not good sentry control from EHOME, if there's not an Elder Titan ready to stomp right then and there, it definitely could be a kill. At the very least, it's good pressure. But a lot of people wonder why Disruptor, the most picked hero in the previous major and so many tournaments, is getting through, especially through a Chinese draft into Phase 2. You look at the bans, it's all about the fact that they didn't pick up an Ice hero. They leave his hero to be picked, and as such, iG.V are like, just ban it out.
That's what the scale. Yeah, they're terrible.
Naga and TB, every single game except for one, where
what did he play when he didn't
played a Clinks.
Oh, he played a Clinks when he did.
But he gets to play Timbersaw. Okay, this could be an old 11 Timbersaw. Offlane Timber is still a very real thing, but Ice's Timbersaw. Obviously, he played in the offlane.
I was going to say, yeah, because of that. Do they then switch the roles because he is such a formidable player on this Timbersaw? Or do we see something even as crazy as a safe lane Timber?
I think safe lane Timber is actually very viable here. I think that you get up so much pure damage really quickly that the Slark can't really feel confident going in. It's like, oh, I can Shadow Dance. Well, if you're up against like an Ag's Timber and you get double Chakrammed, it's not doing enough for you. I actually do think safe lane Timber for Ice here could be phenomenal. Now, it definitely isn't slated. We could easily see Old 11 go to the off lane with it, and that'd be fine. But I've seen so many clips of Ice just stomping pubs, getting 20, 30 Bloodstone charges on his Timber, ages past and in present. So I really would love to see it, but it also gives them the flexibility. If they feel like the Timbersaw is being too pressured by, let's say, a Nyx support or any other really good chain stunner, then and magical nuker, like a Skywrath, for example, then you can just go ahead and put a Timbersaw in a more reserved position. Whereas if you feel like there's a really good pick in terms of a core that can get involved in the team fights when DP starts pushing, then they'll put the Ice on that instead. So I do think that there's a couple of options here, but definitely my preference is towards the safe lane there.
Well, we have the Witch Doctor picked up. I mean, you said yourself that they were going to look for some kind of healing support with Oracle and Omni already taken out. It was kind of limited down to the Witch Doctor with the Dazzle. And opting for the Witch Doctor here is obviously going to help with the push of the DP. Final ban from EHOME, the Batrider ban. So, indeed, ig.vitality still needing their off lane. EHOME, as you said, because of the way that they can switch the lanes around, there's still a bit of a question what they're going to go for. Lone Druid will actually be the ban. And we'll see what the plan is from iG.V here with their, of course, their safe lane pick. Oh no, sorry, the regular slot. So it's, their fifth support position 4. And
well, that still raises the question of the
it's an off-lane bounty. That's what, or off-lane us.
I think they'll both go in the off lane.
They'll just both go in the off lane.
And then the question is who roams.
That's what.
I think the bounty is a little bit better at roaming it, but if he wants to farm up the lane a bit and get the faster 6, then the Earth Spirit could be the one doing the roaming. You can kind of play this fast and loose. It is very interesting to see what essentially is 3-4 position supports all in the same draft, and how they're going to balance the economy, who's going to be taking last hits, if anyone. I mean, it's not the easiest draft to lane against.
Right, this is certainly an interesting thing from ig.vitality, and was Slaughter picked up. I mean, obviously going by what you said, I would imagine it's still going to be Timber off lane, Slardar safe lane. But iG.V is going to indeed play the Timber. So where does he take it? Is he going to take it into the safe lane, or are we just going to see iG.V fall back to that off lane role that we know him so well for?
We'll have to be careful and watch for a swap just in case, because
he might be having an iG.V troll. Like,
yeah, of course.
Classic iG.V.
Classic.
Like, I'm going to play Timber, but yeah. We'll watch this.
But all the same, I do think that Timber's safe lane could be pretty fine. I mean, or Spirit, Bounty Hunter, how do they put pressure on the Timber? They can put pressure on the Disruptor while he's trying to go for pulls and stuff, but actually killing off the Timber, 1 point in reactive at least, and let's say you get a Fairy Fire just in case, and you're fine.
10 seconds remaining.
Right, this is certainly going to be an interesting one as well. Just this
5 seconds
lineup from EHOME, and I mean the fact that they've got the Elder Titan as well. It's such a good hero, and it's great with all the heroes that EHOME do have on their side. But iG.V running this strat here with the Bounty, the Earth Spirit, and the Witch Doctor. We'll have to see what lanes they do end up going to here.
Yep. So we're going to be seeing 11 Super Crossways, both TPing to the bottom lane, trying to get some good wards out here. At least Super actually didn't even bring any, just the courier with him. He wanted to make sure that the wards don't go the other way. So bottom line is that I do think that iG.V feel a little bit pressed to get things done early. I'll just go for a quick reconnect just in case we can help out the lag in any real capacity. But I really do feel that iG.V took something away from their game yesterday when the Clinks had 700 GPM against them. They lost their lanes miserably. They couldn't rotate well. I feel like they realized that they were kind of drafting a little bit too greedily, and they weren't really enabling supports that could rotate and deal with heavy aggression. So I feel like they probably looked back at the replay, said, okay, that's more of what we want to bring to our drafts in this next day. But I'm wondering if it might be too much. I mean, if you're not drafting enough really scaling damage, there are certain concerns about being able to burst down the Mirana quickly enough or take out the Timbersaw at all. So we'll have to see what Dogfights does on the Earth Spirit. Earth Spirit and Bounty Hunter are two very significant favorites of his, but iG.Vi is going to be picking it, and iG.Vi is the offlaner.
And we'll see if anything kicks off here at the start as well. They're heading down towards the bottom, the three of them, to join Old 11. No smokes, it's just going to be there in case iG.V start to go for a fight themselves. I mean, overall, obviously the differences between these two drafts. In your mind, is there a draft that you do prefer? I mean, obviously coming into this game, we said our ig.vitality, we're going to need to step it up. Is this the kind of lineup that they're going to be able to do that with?
I mean, I think that they absolutely are capable. They have a lot of kill potential with these heroes put in the right position. The mid lane should feel really pressed, and the Century game is going to be pretty interesting, but iG.Vi Bounty, I'm not sure is the pick. I feel like if you take the Bounty Hunter out and you just look at the Slark, DP, Earth Spirit, and Witch Doctor, that's a very capable lineup. You add in the Bounty Hunter, and all he does is really add gold to the picture. He adds the track gold. It could be potentially great, but only if they find catch out EHOME and really exploit positioning.
I mean, EHOME themselves. Do you think there's a... I mean, are we going to see either teams respond to lanes in terms of switching around lanes? Is there any kind of matchup that there's a side that they really want to avoid here?
In this position, I feel like the Elder Titan needs to be able to rotate between the safe lane and the mid lane. So if they are feeling a little bit uncomfortable with the Bounty Hunter being in the offlane and being off the map so frequently, then they might try to dedicate the ET more so to the mid lane and just avoid that kind of null area in the jungle, this kind of demilitarized zone where you don't know what really lurks around the corner. I think the ET might have to stagnate a little bit, so they kind of divide their forces. The Disruptor supports one lane, the ET supports another, so that's a bit of a variation. But other than that, I think they're still going to stick to what we see here, the Slardar in the off lane and the Timbersaw in the safe. He's got some extra regen because, well, first of all, iG.V always loves to pick up extra regen. He's used to go like 12 tangos on Tidehunter. But in this case, he also knows that he's going to be pressured. I mean, that's Earth Spirit Bounty. You're going to get some licks in. But yeah, I think that the biggest adjustment EHOME might make is their support movement, whether or not they stick to one lane or they start jumping between. And that comes down to how often they have sight on the Bounty Hunter.
Ping something out already, but As we're just waiting to see what goes on here. Obviously the China games all played on the LAN, so there may be some issues. Technical details, and there we have it. Reconnection from We should hopefully be able to get this action underway here.
So I have a question for you. What in the
Yes.
world is this clothing piece supposed to actually contribute here? This
Which
guy
bit? Which
lives
bit?
underwater,
Yeah.
and now he's got like a little thong. Like, what is he? You know, tanning his
It's
beach bod? Like, what is
polite,
this?
You know, he's covering his privates.
I just feel like the guy is straight up naked, and then there's this flimsy little cloth on him that doesn't contribute anything.
How do you know it's flimsy? I mean, I'm looking at this. It's this is quite hardened material.
All right.
It could be some kind of steel hanging down. You know,
Yeah.
some
I
kind of
mean,
rusted metal.
Yeah, it's just, you know, some kind of protection for combat, I'm sure. You get the extra armor where you need it. All right.
It's got a nice blade though. What's this blade? It's the real one.
30 seconds
Genuine
to
pale
battle.
edge. Or gift from. It's a gift from someone as well. There you go. From one of his
Excellent.
mates. So.
There's a lot of gifts for the pro players. Everybody likes to see their.
Oh, this guy
item
plays
tree.
a lot of Slark as well. Oh yeah, actually, there's got a lot. 938 least enemies. I guess that's quite a lot.
Yeah. I mean, he's already got a lot of games on it just in the last month competitively, so I'm sure he pubs it. quite a
Yeah,
bit
this
as
was the hero that we just saw yesterday. Them stomp with, wasn't it? Right. That was when
Yeah,
I
so
did-
it's
that was-
they played it in both games. They got stomped while
yes,
they had
that's
it,
right. Yeah,
and
they
he
played
got
again.
tower dove a bunch of times, and then there was one game where he was able
Yeah.
to just get his first couple items up, and he was able to do amazingly well. So that's what it comes down to for iG.V, is finding a way to really make the most of the laning stage. It's going to be Boots on the Earth Spirit, Orb of Venom on the Bounty. That's a very important decision to make, essentially, is who's going to be more involved in just getting those free hits in, and it's going to be in July. The Dogfights just wants to be in the right place at the right time. In July is the one who expects to want to get consecutive attacks. And is this going to be a choreo snipe to start things off? What? You can't do that against a bounty hunter, old chicken.
He knew it was there as well, didn't he?
Not
I mean,
necessarily.
he'd seen it towards he knew he was going to be making the movement up towards the top. That was not the way they wanted to start. Let's see if they can actually get a kill. They're bringing Dogfights low. Now, they have to be careful themselves. In fact, they're rolling back in, and it may be iG.V who get the first blood, and it is. They'll take down Elder Titan. They do lose the Earth Spirit in return. But yeah, EHOME losing the courier and giving away first blood in the mid lane. Not how they wanted to be starting this one.
Not at all. And that was a couple of key target swaps there. The Stomp was actually really on point to get a guaranteed arrow on somebody, but the Earth Spirit moved in front to tank it so that the DP could just go in a full offensive, which is a critical decision there. They had to swap off the Disruptor due to kiting, but hitting the Earth Spirit thanks to Orb of Venom, and yeah, really giving a point of leverage here. DP knows that now Old Chicken cannot get his bottle anytime soon, and you wonder why they make that kind of mistake with the courier when the bounty's in the game. I mean, the one thing I can think of is that they see in July's on the bounty and they think he'll just have to be top lane.
Oh, yeah, they just think he's going to be straight on one of the side lanes. Hey, look at the lanes as well. Indeed, we've got, so down this bottom lane, there's solo laning Earth Spirit against iCice's Timbersaw. And at the moment, just kind of trying to trade hits here with the man, but iCice is coming out on top in this lane with regards to the CS. So this could be interesting to see how this Spirit plays, because not often do we see Spirit in that solo lane position. And the top lane could have actually going in as the crush comes down. Old Levin's trying to get himself back, but iG.V with 3 on him with the Maledict. He's almost certainly going to pop. And one more. There we go. A second kill for iG.V. And yeah, the bounty's rotations causing some issues for EHOME, which is good, because as I was going to say, with the laning Earth Spirit, it's unlikely Dogfights is going to be able to catch anyone out with his rotations, because they'll know instantly that he's out of the lane.
So this is a very important lane swap they've made here. Obviously, the prediction is like, okay, Earth Spirit's going to be in the offlane, Bounty's just going to be roaming and harassing. But they said, okay, we don't want to actually match up Yuno against the Timbersaw. So they go ahead, when ice comes bottom, they bring Yuno and super top, and they just go ahead for a bit of an aggro try, which so far has paid off quite significantly. Now, it does hurt their safe lane. Dogfights has no chance of winning against the Timbersaw here, but just going into the Tranquils, he's going to at least sustain and survive.
I mean, just, yeah, look at this top lane. The CS difference between Yuno and Old 11. It's double the CS on the slot. Old 11 just can't find anything at all in this lane.
So it's going to be a long time before he is able to get the Blink Dagger, which does kind of limit EHOME to go for only Stomp initiation and Glimpse and play.
We can see Old Lanham making his way down towards the bottom. He's still just level 1. Oh, no, now he's level 2. That bounty certainly helping the man out. He's looking to make a movement down towards the bottom, and so at the same time, top in July, just scouting out the whereabouts of these two, but I know he's there with the sentry. They're not going to try and make a jump on him as of yet.
Yeah, I mean, going Crush Kinetic, you definitely will get a lot of damage in, but it's not going to be enough to kill him, and they pretty much need to get a kill to disrupt his position on the lane. For now, though, he is burning through a lot of Shadow Walks. That 65 mana cost is taking its toll, and yeah, he's just going to be visible for the time being, though he will be able to claim a Sentry Ward outside the pull.
That Ob's, unfortunately, just outside of that Sentry's range, so won't be able to get the D Ward.
Quite unfortunate. And probably a little bit intentional. This is, I mean, a decent ward block position, so you can put down the sentry on it, block the camp, and in this case, get the sentry down at the very least. iG.V doesn't have any Whirling Death. See, actually, he's not gone for 0-2-3, but Echo Stomp's going to be there, and they're going to be able to nuke down dogfights in the end with, it looks like a nice little Immortal for the Mirana.
Oh yeah, he's got that new shiny item. Immortal 2s. One indeed.
But look at the skill build. This is very interesting. Big utility for getting the burst damage in.
Yeah, it's certainly an interesting one for my size. But I guess when you go for this kind of build, then do you expect to see him just remain in the lane and static farm because of the fact that he hasn't got that burst from the Whirling Death, or could we see him turning up to fight soon?
I think the fact is he's padded his armor and HP regen through this reactive armor that you might even get more aggressive because you're so tanky. It just means that you need a little bit more support. You don't go for the solo kills. So speaking of, we're going to see an engagement up top here that brings the Slardar very low. Moonlight Shadow gonna be enough to get him away.
Yeah, they glimpse back the Slark. They'll take.
Oh,
they actually gets him with the dart pack.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I mean, overall, they are killing 3 and losing 1, but maybe no one is going to lose the Slardar there.
Yeah, the Slardar definitely shouldn't have gone down, and if their positioning of the glimpse was a little bit different, then it just would have been a 3-for-0, because there was a arrow presumably that caught on the mid lane. I didn't catch it, but Death Prophet did go down, and there's pretty much no other way that's going to happen other than a really good Sacred Arrow.
Top lane disrupts it. He's in a spot above it. They've got the Shuriken as well. Oh, he's been arrowed. Oh, chicken. Saving the backside of Fenrir and picking up another kill for EHOME. This man's movements on the Mirana doing a lot here. This stage of the game, just 6 minutes in.
Yeah, it's a very involved game right now, and I think iG.V is going to need to start making his move. But for now, he's just playing creep cut, similar to what an Axe would do. And what you do is you actually intentionally right-click a hero to aggro the creep wave, and then you keep your reactive armor at this extremely high stack value. So he's intentionally aggroing creeps. This constantly pushes it out because the Radiant creeps aren't assaulting. But now his durability will truly be tested. They actually cancel his jump away with the cask, and they should be able to bring him down. He's got one more jump, but there's just too many heroes on him. If he had a TP, this would have been amazing because he would have been able to get out. But they're going to finally block him out, and despite the damage, Timbersaw will be going down. A level 7 hero split among 4 for experience.
Yeah, it did take a lot to bring him down, and he made them work for it as well. He even maybe had a chance of timbering down and keeping it going for a little longer, but unfortunately one of the trees in the high ground actually blocked his timber chain that he was looking to bring himself down out of the base.
Yeah, I'm not sure why you go for the play back past the tower unless you have a TP scroll. If he had a TP, then obviously he would have lived because he had the time for it. In the meantime, mid lane, Slark a little bit too far forward, and yeah, just caught. Just straight up caught. That's a solo kill. For old chicken, this guy is pulling out some amazing chain stunts. Like just getting these skill shots off, getting unexpected hits where the Slark is going down where it shouldn't be. And we saw what happens when loses momentum in the early game.
Yeah, they may be able to punish him now as they do catch him out with the silence, and the 3 of them with that spit they have got the control. And at the end of the day, Mirana's still a relatively squishy hero. So a good kill nonetheless for iG.V as the Mirana indeed was having a pretty good start.
Yeah, 3B for iG.V.
In July.
Did he miss the Chakram? He missed the Chakram in July. Goes for the Roche deny, but this was a mistake. He stopped and hit it when he could have just walked past. If you walk past, there's no way that the Elder Titan's actually going to get that free hit in, and the Roche would have killed him off. But no, he stopped, and the Elder Titan gets the slap first. So a little unfortunate there for the Bounty Hunter, but I mean, it seemed like it was a free kill anyways. It's just the Chakram was slightly off the mark. iG.V is now pressured heavily. That durability once again tested. And his trees are gone!
He may have they got detection? Yeah, they do. Sentry's down. All right, yeah. I mean, if that tree was still there, I think he could have had a chance. The regen was at max stacks.
Indeed. So at this point, it's been Ice that actually is been giving the most away. He's got the top CS, and he's obviously put a lot of pressure here. He's kind of like playing Timbersaw like a brood mother to an extent. He's like creating space for his teammates and putting constant pressure on towers, which is cool with this whole wave cutting thing. But at the end of the day, he's given up 2 kills, and he's gonna be his bloodstone timing is not gonna be that significant.
No, I mean at the moment, top of the net worth is old chicken still on his Mirana. Did get taken down by that 4-man movement mid, but other than that, you know, he's found himself 5 kills, and he's been able to keep himself quite nicely ahead of the game at this point. Top lane, bit of space being given to old 11, and as we can see, he's very, very close to picking up that blink dagger. So that might be when we start to see the plays come out even more from the side of EHOME and ig.Vitality. Just have to be a little bit more careful about the potential jump in from the side.
Looks like we do have a bit of a disconnect
Come
here.
on, China. There we go.
We're getting back into it. If it gets really bad, we'll go for one more reconnect, see if that helps us out a little bit. But for now, we'll grit our teeth in and try to bear through the Great Firewall of China, not letting many packets through at the moment. So Timbersaw still, like, I mean, he's going aggressive. He's going for this 0-3-4. He essentially just built to be mobile, be durable, and to Spider-Man around. He's trying to, he essentially is looking at the fact that there are so few stuns on the side of iG.V. There's only the cask and the shuriken. He's saying, well, I guess there's a bullet smash as well, but if you can take into account really what the enemy is going to try to be bringing, then you'll be able to just go so aggressive and so deep and force heavy rotations, like 3 or 4 heroes responding, and still get out scot-free.
Interesting to know as well. Yeah, Slaughter didn't go for the blink, went for the armor.
Yeah, that is an interesting decision
Because he saved up all the money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not like you're going to do much with the helmet iron will or anything anyways.
Yeah,
but
I guess. Yeah.
But all the same, you make the point. Yeah, I definitely expected it to be blink, but they seem to feel like they have the initiation without it. You know, by the way, getting caught out, they're finding kills without him for sure. I mean, Slaughter has done absolutely nothing offensively this game, but the pickoffs have been real, especially when the Mirana is involved. I mean, he is already 6-1-1. Old Chicken, very comfortable on this hero. But all the same, I would have to say that the current situation, they feel like they're going to be able to initiate with just the ET alone. And if the Stomps are successful, I mean, Windlay's Tranquil Boots gives the Spirit a ton of movement speed. So it should be almost guaranteed stomp on 1 and potentially more. It's not going to be as quick of a jump, but still going to be nearly as effective.
See how heavy EHOME want to go with the pressure on this mid lane at the same time. Still, ISO size keeping up that, as you said earlier, that the kind of broom of the play style. Just sitting in the lane and putting the pressure on. They'll try and roll in on mid. Old Chicken's going to walk himself away in July, looking to have the bounty run. He will do. And will actually get caught out by the stomp. They're going to try and commit as well with the ultimate, and they should find the bounty hunter kill. They do. Can they give themselves anything more? They're forward a Maledict onto Old Chicken, walks himself away. Dogfights rolls in. Old Chicken, can he keep himself alive? He's trying for the TP out. Isn't going to make it though, as they do lose the Mirana in return. Old 11 comes in, actually going to whiff the crush. Now he himself could be in trouble. Is he living?
He's armor toggling and he's going back in.
Oh, 3-man crush. They want to do it. Kinetic field down. They've trapped him up. Old 11, he won't be able to live his way out of this one. But EHOME may be able to clean up as they find a double kill. Looks like the ghosts are causing a little bit too much of an issue though. And they're having to run themselves away. But again, the stomps, it doesn't matter. Disruptor will still go down. So OP on the Death Prophet there. Just securing that team fight win for EHOME, but only just as EHOME did look to turn that one around. Yeah,
it did have a couple of major complications there, but I really like the moxie of Slaughter just going in like that. He definitely saw his opportunity, took it, and was able to do quite a bit with it. But still, DP's ultimate, obviously, a big breadwinner here is going to be able to do 2,000 damage and cinch them at least a few kills in that. So. Moving forward, still trying to build up that Shadow Blade, not too far from it now, but we talked about it earlier, as if he's lacking that momentum and lacking that early income, he seems to struggle. We'll see if he can get a time where EHOME is still lacking detection control.
Let's see what I can do. A bit of a chase down. Angelo just being spotted out by Slaughter. Mid lane, EHOME. Looking to maybe set up to finish this tower off. I think July's going to go for the
Oh, arrow from Old Chicken. Can they follow it up? Not going to go for the Earth Splitter play. There's no other cores nearby, so it's just going to be a very, very nice looking skill shot. But I want to point out that they have some really good web of sentries towards the mid lane. They saw the Bounty Hunter moving towards the rune. They Echo Stomp him, they Earth Splitter him, and then they open up a really good fight. Yeah, no matter what iG.V bring, like initiation like that is always going to start with a kill in favor of EHOME.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And iG.V really want to make something happen as they make the smoke movement. I mean, top lane Old 11, rather far out on his own. He's got to start to move back as he looks to be backing up too late. He will get caught out, and iG.V find themselves a Slardar kill with that smoke movement.
Yeah, and it's worth pointing out that the Witch Doctor is going for this kind of newer, no Voodoo Restoration build. Although the Witch Doctor's Voodoo Restoration is one of the most value points you can get in Dota, with just the 1 point providing the same exact HP per mana, it's Ice. I think he'll get out of this one, but it's a little hard for us to tell. He's getting a lot of hits, and they do pounce him down, and he is actually going to be falling here. So good stun, silence combo there from dogfights, just enough to cancel the Timber Chains. But yeah, I do feel like there's an immense amount of value in the Voodoo Restoration, but when you see an armlet, you can find so much value in the Max Maledict and essentially preventing the Slardar from disengaging and re-engaging, because there are a number of really skilled Slardar players. The ones that come to mind are Misery and Resolution.
Yes.
And what they do is, using the armlet and the blink dagger, they keep their HP pool exactly where they want it. They disengage from the fight, and they just toggle on, and they just blink back in. It's not the first crush that kills you, it's the second one, when the Slardar walks out of the fight and jumps back in at the perfect time. And they can do this 3-4 times in a fight if they're allowed to do so. But something like Maledict, it's a long duration DOT that does damage based on the damage received. So armlet and blink are not as effective.
You can see that they really want to punish Old 11. They're coming in again with the roll in. Need to buy a bit of time for the backup to come through, and Super Maledict, Death Ward again committed. It's going to mean that they find themselves the Slardar kill. The question is, did they lose anything in return? Ult comes out from the Elder Titan, and now iG.V on the retreat. They've already lost the Earth Spirit. They're chasing down in July as well, but it looks like they won't be able to catch out the bounty. So 1 for 1. And again, iG.V will be happy with it. They may not be done. They're moving in. The sentry is down. They know that the Slark is there.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he is exactly, because that is a huge mistake from Going to get caught by the kinetic static. Going to be knocked down. Just one sentry ward, and you'll see it with the Shadow Dance, that debuff that you are totally visible. That was a very significant misplay from I figure that he's a bit on tilt from how this game has been progressing for him.
Yeah, maybe. And again, as we obviously talked about in the draft, just seeing how good the Disruptor is. You said normally, yeah, he realizes he's been seen, but he's like, I've got a Dark Pack. But that's not going to save you when you get caught in the middle of a static storm.
He just has to play differently. He has to realize that EHOME have the economy to buy all these Sentry Wards. They already have the incentive within July's Bounty Hunter. You can't play that aggressively with the Shadow Blade, at least not when you don't have backup.
I'm just going to pop the Ghost up here to find a tier 1. We'll see if they're able to move in for more onto a tier 2. But they are starting to shape up nicely here, EHOME, and it is still very, very even on the graphs. No one breaking hugely away. And in the jungle, well, I did just see that bounty come around the sentry. Again, getting the vision, they know he's there. They'll glimpse him back. Can they seal the deal? Yeah, with the 3 of them surrounding him.
Oh, don't get the crush here. He gets out of the kinetic and he just moves away. That track movement speed doing a lot for him. And the lack of blink hurting their initiation, but still in July gets caught. There's another great arrow from Old Chicken. And Super now in their sights, unlikely to escape.
Dogfights has actually come back into this. Trying to do what he can to save the Witch Doctor in there. Looks like it'll be enough. But the Witch Doctor will get himself out. Nice 3-man Static Storm though. And Earth Spirit will end up going down. What is there? They've lost 1 in return. Can iG.V find anything else? They're questioning whether they should stick around in this fight.
Another glimpse. Fenrir's got 3 critical glimpses in this engagement, and that is the most important one of them all.
Oh man, this maxed out natural order. You bring someone next to the Elder Titan, they just melt to the burst that EHOME have. It's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, if they can be seen, they can be killed, and it's got to be the MVP right now for EHOME is indeed Fenrir's Disruptor, because every single glimpse is
Yeah,
perfectly
set
on
up for
point.
kill.
They have a sentry waiting for the target that gets glimpsed back inside a kinetic field, and there's just no hope. You got to be starting to look towards like BKB rushes and stuff like that. In fact, I'm sure that's exactly what DP is going to pursue, and most hopefully the Slark as well. Yeah, they need BKBs because right now the Disruptor is just completely outplaying them.
Yeah, yeah. It's just this combination of heroes that they're running is looking very, very impressive. And in July, so I hope they don't throw down a sentry yet. They don't have a gem out yet on eHOME.
I feel like there was a smoke there that he broke because the Slaughter did try to go for a crush play, but either way they'll reset with the Moonlight, and the Bounty Hunter will lurk in the shadows.
Yeah, I mean, as well, it's because eHOME just constantly getting more and more sentries down. There's at least 6 sentries out across the map at the moment. But as you said, they've got a lot of incentive to do so.
Seemed like they saw him for just a brief moment here in the mid lane. He is going to be juking to the tree line and invisible, but Fenrir does not catch sight.
Yeah, and they have now placed every sentry that they picked up, so no potential to catch him out elsewhere. But moving in across the river, OP. He's going to head up. He's not going to be able to get anything into.
I don't think you look for a fight until you have BKBs. Like, you are going to be 1,500 away for the Death Prophet, not that much for the Slark, and yeah, I mean, you push out a little bit when you can, when it's safe to do so, but you don't really look for the big engagements until later. But as I say that, they're not going together. They're getting picked off all separate on the opposite side of the river. So I feel like they just need a much more reserved position altogether. It's not just about spreading the map, it's spreading the map cautiously, because right now the detection game is favoring eHOME, the glimpse game is favoring them. iG.V just have to kind of draw it back a bit and let the carries farm.
Yeah, and it really feels now that the fact that they're going to have these blinks online. You know, we've got Blink on the Mirana. Slardar, he's got the money for his Blink as well. It's going to be very, very scary for iG.V to play around, because we've seen how well the eHOME play as a team, and in these fights just going from kill to kill to kill. Top lane though, old Lanham left on his own, and he's not getting out of this one.
Yep.
It's going to be a track kill as well for the side. Made them work for it. Nonetheless, still going to fall. And this is one thing you have to be careful about. If they do start getting the track kills, iG.V, they could sail ahead, and this Slark could get into that unstoppable territory that we did see be able to utilize very well yesterday. You know, if he gets to a certain point, it's going to be a very hard game for your opponents.
Yeah, I would definitely say there's a critical mass here. I would absolutely say that the Slardar, Timbersaw, Mirana Tricore is not really going to be able to go to the late game up against the Slark. Even though like the Bounty Hunter isn't really a late game core either, he's allowing the Slark and the DP to get to the late game faster, and those two alone can outcarry the other three.
Back in and back towards the mid. It's interesting that well, they're still kind of going for the split push. eHOME, they're constantly having like the Mirana or the Timbersaw away from the team. We'll see when they do decide to bring the full forces back together again and decide to take for a fight. Or do you think they're more just kind of waiting for iG.V to poke their noses out?
Well, they've so far, seen like the Witch Doctor too far forward. They're like, okay, we'll take care of that. They saw pinged out the Bounty Hunter when he overstepped, and it's like, yeah, that's a good opportunity. But now I think that they do need to make a 5-man movement, and while their single target damage isn't great, amp damage does still make Roshan pretty easy. So I would expect them to crowd around the pit, and if there's any sign of contest, then they'll be right there ready for the fight.
But Injuli's going to be spotted out by the sentry. Now later on a Thunderstrike, another sentry as well.
Yeah, that should be a freebie.
He's very dead indeed. Old 11 jumping in. And with the Bounty Hunter gone, hero advantage. So they can get more. Trying to get themselves away. They're chasing down on the slot.
Oh, he's going to have to BKB TP.
Yeah, and indeed. They'll put the BKB. Actually starting to turn and fight. Old Chicken caught out on the backside as well. The ghosts are out, and Old Chicken leaves himself away. Will survive. Let's see if they're going to lose anything more here. Looks like the rest will just disengage. So it does just sit as this 1v1, 1-for-1. But in a fight where Exorcism has been popped, so is the Death Ward. And I think it was, Magnetize as well was used. So a lot of holds down that eHOME might be able to play around and get themselves back in the pit during the duration of these cooldowns. Yeah,
significant victory for eHOME because of those cooldowns, as well as the BKB being forced out, and minimal losses for them as they trade 1-for-1. So still, they'll immediately scribble around the pit. If the Exorcism's down, it's time to take the Aegis, and I do think that Slaughter will lead the charge there once they're all kind of regrouped. But yeah, they still again have a kind of lack of single target damage, so they have to be very methodical in how they take objectives. EHOME, they definitely have the kill potential, but taking it beyond that is going to take some intentional movement.
Let's see if EHOME want to go back in there. They're hanging around, but at the same time, so are iG.V. They still feel that they can give them a pretty good fight, even without those ults. Things out on TI6. The Moonlight Shadow as well to allow the backup to come in. The question is it actually going to catch iG.V off guard?
Oh, they are all caught up, clumped up together. We're going to see a big jump here for Earth Spirit, controlling that choke point extremely well, and they're going to be bursting down onto the Disruptor to take him down before he can ulti.
Oh my goodness. 3 heroes down, a buyback used. Can they actually turn this one, EHOME, though? They're looking to get the heroes back in the fight. You know, getting low, but he gets the Shadow Dance off, will back away. They're going to continue to chase, move in, EHOME. They want to find dogfights. The Stomp will connect. The arrow is going to be off the mark. They've silenced up Old Chicken. He's going to go down as well. And the fight continues to be messy. iG.V and Old Lanham eyeing up the Death Prophet. Can they finish her off? She's incredibly speedy. Looks like she's still able to juke it around the tree line. They're still chasing. Chakram, we'll get them. That will get him. TI6 on top of the DP there with the Chakram play. But a very messy fight, and it did cost EHOME a buyback, so overall the numbers favoring iG.V off the back of that one.
Absolutely. I mean, it is a massive gold swing going to iG.V here, getting the Elder Titan buyback, and it just comes down to that one sentry where they see the Moonlight Shadow, and they immediately just drop it and get a concave. They were attacking from all directions while EHOME were approaching in a big clump. Earth Spirit exploits that heavily. The cask is really good there too, and they just tear them apart. Obviously, they didn't get away scot-free, but that was exactly the fight that iG.V needed.
Yeah, one thing though for the side of EHOME is the fact that they may have lost the fight, but Roshan is there, and obviously with the slow they can do it at pretty reasonable timing. So this is going to be a big kind of booster back for them after coming out just slightly underneath the side of iG.V on the back of that full team fight. Getting the Aegis onto Old Chicken's Mirana. So they'll feel to be back in a bit more of a comfortable position, but as we said, they need to be careful of this Slark. BKB done, as we saw in the last fight. And now picking up the recipe for the Silver Edge. So
all right.
it does get better and better for Yuna.
So there's no Echo Saber transition here. He went for the BKB with that Ogre Club and decided that is going to be enough defensive. Now let's go ahead and really just try to go for the hardcore offensive. You can see that even like he hit Timbersaw once and he's like, that's not worth it. All I'm getting out of that is Essence Shift. I'm not actually going to be able to kill this guy. So now he's got the Silver Edge. Now he can mute the reactive armor and actually burst this guy down.
Let's see if anything's actually found top. iG.V actually going to try to just take down the tier 1 on his own, and done a good job of it. We'll see if anyone goes for a kind of deny. No, they're going to let him have it. And iG.V will get the tower. More money into the Timbersaw's pockets, and iG.V, you know, he said he was the carry player, and now and obviously did play the offlane role, but his farm, he's looking like the carry player still. He's right up there, right with the Slark and the Mirana.
Yeah, almost 200 last hits now. As long as Timbersaw has mana, he can always farm. Like you're just like, oh, there's a jungle camp. Cast 3 spells, it's gone. The mana problems are significant, but the Bloodstone is helping to mitigate that just a bit. Super tanky.
Oh, that BKB! Immediate reactions from OP on the Death Prophet, stopping the initiation. Death Ward's dropped down. Old 11's ticking down low, and he's gone. Slardar to fall, and the rest of EHOME will begin the retreat. Let's see what their plan is, but I don't think they'll be too keen on hanging around for a fight with one man down there. Turning, maybe seeing if they can catch out Dogfights, who's come out alone. The Stomp won't connect on him. The Thunderstrike does hit him and takes down the Earth Spirit. So EHOME finding something in return. But at the end of the day, they are losing a core for a support. Maybe they can find something more, they'll be happy. They're moving in.
I actually don't think the core versus support analogy is really that applicable here because of the fact that you've got a BKB and an Exorcism.
That's true.
As long as you're burning BKBs down to 5, a relatively even trade on a hero like Slardar who doesn't need more farm this game.
And he's kind of far behind anyway. It's not like he's top of the pack.
Yeah, like I consider this an offlane Slardar that was played in or the safe lane. So all in all, I would absolutely say that that's a good trade because the BKB and Exorcism is coming into play there. But still a great reaction from the Death Prophet. That jump was quick, but his reaction was quicker.
It's just going to be a question. We'll see whether EHOME can do anything with this, again, this timing where there is no Exorcism up. Moonlight Shadow Maybe seeing if they can catch out or in July, immediately TPing out and will make it. They don't get the vision to catch him out with a glimpse or any kind of cancel. But the creep wave starting to move around on the top, and EHOME may just try and pressure down this lane and see if they can take away the tier 2 from iG.V. See what kind of response they get.
Now, the bottom rune skirmish really was unfortunate for iG.V because the mechanism came out just a moment too late when the E-Spirit got ticked down. But you got to realize just how much burst potential comes out of this ET. When you get the double Star Storm with the natural order,
you're dead.
I mean, they don't have a Veil. That would be the only thing that would tip it over the edge, but they have so much burst damage, and Bounty Hunter can't hesitate. He's got to be in the right position. He's got to be very quick on the mechanism trigger, or heads are going to roll.
But they want to go for a wraparound here. iG.V smoking up, trying to catch them off from the sidelines. We'll see what they do. There's already a sentry down, so EHOME are prepared for this. This is good awareness jumping in. They'll get the two-man crush. Let's see what kind of follow-up they have. Falling low. The arrow connects onto the slug, and they'll take him down. 2 to fall already, and now moving in for more. OP's going to go for the TP out. Will he make it? No, he gets bashed up. They've caught out the DP. They'll take him as well. Dogfights is going to fall, and EHOME perfectly playing that. They were absolutely ready for that wraparound from iG.V, and they absolutely crushed them.
Just massive. Quite literally with a brilliant two-man crush to start that off. The ET follow-through, the Mirana arrow right on top. That was just a picture-perfect team fight from EHOME, getting everything in the right place. And that could have been a dicey team fight. I feel like iG.V, with the Exorcism coming out early, could absolutely dominate a fight. But EHOME had the better vision. They had the better prediction because that was out of smoke. And they
read them like a book. They knew it was going to come. They had the warning ready. They knew that they were going to move around this in this position, and they read it exactly right. EHOME. Absolutely, iG.V just playing into their hands there.
Brilliant. And now at this point, you see 18 Bloodstone charges for ice building up.
He's got the He's pretty much got the money for the Shivas as well.
Yeah, heavy mitigation here. The Dominator giving, or the Hood of Defiance giving him a lot of magic regen, but he goes plate mail into BKB to make that essentially just to break silences is what I can consider.
I guess, yeah.
You would usually go Yule Scepter for this, but because it's coming out from multiple sources, the DP and the Earth Spirit, he just feels like all he wants to do is make sure he can cast the spells. And that's going to obviously give him a lot of potential here.
Chicken actually pop in Moonlight. Don't know what that necessarily is for, though. Not really going to achieve anything. The rest of his team actually still in the base.
Bounty rune secured, dude. I mean,
there we have
come
it.
on.
Yeah. Haha.
It's 113 gold. It's absolutely worth a 100-second cooldown.
Yeah, that's a little bit weird, that. But anyway, EHOME back on the map. Roshan's still not up for a couple of minutes at least. But as we can see, from the net worth after that, that was kind of the biggest, most significant swing we've seen so far. Still, only 5k lead at 32 minutes. It's not the end of the world at all for iG.V. But they've got to be careful about that happening again. As, EHOME's warning's just been absolutely on point, and they've always been in the right place at the right time for iG.V's movements.
Yep. We're going to see the Timbersaw take down the bottom tier 2 pretty much single-handedly here. Has the BKB complete and the BOTs as well, so he's moving across the map quickly, and he is going to be just a force to be reckoned with, because you can't fight into that. Because, I mean, the Silver Edge, maybe the Slark can try, but the bottom line is with the BKB up, he can always Timber Chain away, and it's just not a target that you can really pin down. So Timber is going to be nearly immortal for that 10-second duration. The rest of the team is going to be the ones that kind of have to balance their offense and defense, especially like the Mirana is in an interesting point. I love the progression Old Chicken went for the 10-second BKB, and he's going to go Ethereal Blade next. So it's kind of like bouncing around. He's going to be dealing a lot of damage, but he realizes that he needs to cover his basis with this magic community.
Throwing an arrow here, Moonlight as well. Did get spotted out, I think, as the pings come through. In the neighborhood, they're actually jumping forward here. Some aggressive movements here from the Mirana. They won't be able to follow it through, though, and EHOME will just reveal themselves in the mid lane and start to put the pressure onto this tier 2 mid as Ice picks up the recipe and heads the crew out to the secret shop to get that Mystic Staff. So now having both the Shivas and the BKB done. I mean, as you said, he's pretty much unkillable just with the fact that he's got a BKB, but now you can't even dream of killing this man.
Yeah. Now, for those wondering about the mechanic, a Silver Edge will stop you from gaining new stacks of your reactive armor, but you still keep the same ones for its duration. So since that last 20 seconds, as long as iSize continues to do what he's been doing, which is intentionally aggroing inconsequential damage sources so that he can keep that stack up, the Silver Edge isn't going to be that much of a base breaker.
Oh, good way to start the fight as well. They managed to get the vision, dragging in the Spirit. He'll buy back immediately, and they're moving in with the BKB Death Prophet, the Exorcism as well, starting to chase down the Slanner, but he gets himself far enough away. Now they're having to focus iSize, but as we talked about, it's a hard kill to get. He pops the BKB, Timber chains himself away, and he's going to be fine. Escapes the fight. See if EHOME can do anything about re-initiating onto the side. Arrow comes through, catches out the Death Prophet. iSize comes back in, bursts down 2. Dogfights in the Static Storm, and now it's iG.V that is just slipping behind here. They've lost 3. They're going to lose a 4 as caught out by the Stomp, the Sleep, the burst damage from Mirana. Old Chicken finds himself a double kill. And that's just Slark dead for 70 seconds after he did actually go all in on the purchase for that Echo Saber. So still short on the gold for a buyback. And this is going to be incredibly rocky territory here for iG.V. And it's just another fight where EHOME play really nicely around those BKBs and the Exorcism. Come back in. They're diving tier 4s to kill off the Witch Doctor. The Death Prophet buys back, but there's no... goes for 80 seconds. And this, I mean, just like that, this could be the borderline over for the side of iG.V.
And classic EHOME plays, they always inception it out. They need to go deeper, and they do love diving it. They find the Witch Doctor, but the big thing here is just how well they were able to kind of space out the fight, reset it a bit, and then re-engage with the flank. They got a really good 3-man Echo Stomp from Lanham, and then iSize was hiding in the tree line, burst from the side. At the same time, the Mirana blinks in for a Starstorm, and they punch through the back line. They take down the supports, and all that's left is the cores that are scattered to the wind.
We'll see at the respawns. Maybe not able to finish off this melee racks, but Shorty jumps in July. Is he going to get bursted down? iSize comes across, is silenced, but it doesn't matter. The Shiva's Guard will take down the Bounty Hunter, and wicked sick for iSize now.
Yeah, and it's just remarkable what he's been able to accomplish on this hero. I mean, I know that it's one of his most played heroes. Yeah,
they win one fight, it went to 5k. Now after that as well, it's up to 20,000 lead. And that's without them even taking a Rax. Yeah. What a ridiculous fight for them to win. The amount that they gained from that one fight, that's crazy.
Yeah, they are really just cementing their advantage further and further with these amazing engagements and getting these pretty much full wipes. The Earth Spirit, I believe, did buy back as well, but yeah, that taxes them only so much by comparison to just how much EHOME have gained. But yeah, the thing that really I loved was when iSize, he went into the tree line here, Maledict expires, and he just jumps across. You can kind of just see the desiccated corpses of the trees that he cut through, because that's his full, perfect form of initiation at the exact time that Lanham and Old Chicken were ready to jump. I mean, there weren't even that many really big pings. They're communicating vocally that they want to go for these exact plays in these exact positions. They just have so much coordination in these situations, and it's really impressive to see.
And Roshan's back up. EHOME heading towards the pit, but at the same time they may want to try and find a fight first. They've come out with the Moonlight Shadow. iG.V are backing up. Old Chicken has the haste rune. We'll see what they find. Slark's coming in, but it gets crushed down. Can they burst this man with the E-Blade? They're trying for it, but no. In fact, Old Lever's going to be the first to lose his life. The BKBs are out from iG.V, and EHOME backing themselves up to the high ground. iSize has popped his own BKB. Fenrir falling low. Yuno's trying to finish him on the Slark, and he will do. Find himself a second. The Elder Titan ult comes through, slams down onto the Death Prophet, and iSize, he's still fighting healthy. The BKB already been used, but with heroes left, it's hard for them to do much about him. You can see Yuno's just trying to go for the easier kill, chasing down Old Lanham on the Elder Titan. He'll buy himself sometime with yours, and in fact the Stomp as well. Old Lanham's going to be fine, and iSize turning up. He may even kill Yuno. Yuno's got to run. He's got to try and hide. iSize just chasing him down, and there's nothing that the team could do to stop him from closing the gap onto Yuno. Finally, with the Shadow Blade, he will be able to escape. But we're just seeing that the fact that iSize is just absolutely unkillable now, and he may even find more. No, Dogfights goes for the TP out. iSize, nothing to do in terms of cancelling it. So, I mean, as we can see, 2 for 1, and it's quite a sizable gold swing for the fact that the fight wasn't that big, because of the fact that iG.V are so far behind in net worth.
And it's even the fact that they ran and TP'd away from iSize there is quite telling, because although their base was under some pressure, they were in a literal 3v1 situation. They're like, it's still too hard. In the end, we're just going into a wild goose chase. A couple of spells for the Earth Spirit and a lot of auto attacks on the Slark. They realize that it's just not going to be enough. They reset, they back off, and this gives time for Roshan for EHOME.
Yeah, he was maybe dreaming of some kind of snipe, but he's got to run. And in fact, yeah, BKB's popped. He's worried about being glimpsed back. Old 11 jumps in, Crush onto dogfights. See what they can set up here on the side. Injuly being bursted down by Old Chicken. And EHOME, they want to try and find more. Old Chicken's actually popped the BKB. We'll see if they're actually going to be able to close the gap. Eyes onto dogfights. The Shiva's God will catch him. They move forward. They should be able to slam down a second, and they will indeed. EHOME finding 2. And now they'll begin to push in onto the base with Old 11 holding this Aegis. And iG.V left to defend with only 3 and still 20 seconds without Exorcism available.
Yeah, brilliant execution here from EHOME, closing this one out with style. And iG.V, remember, this is pretty much their tournament life. If they're going to be able to contest the tiebreakers into the 5th slot for the playoff, they needed a win over EHOME. They needed a win over vg.r. And the first and foremost will not be coming, as we do see EHOME walking all over. They've taken the mid-racks, and now if they could just take one more lane, they should be guaranteed.
Burst. Injuly just getting nuked down immediately by the E-Blade Mirana combination. Ice, silenced the Maledict onto him, but he does not care. They just cannot kill this man. He's an absolute nightmare on the Timbersaw, as expected as well coming into it, of course. Getting the treat, seeing Ice on the Timbersaw once again. You know, starting to come in. It'll take a few Essence Shift stacks, but that's about it. As EHOME remain, hold their ground. BKB is popped as they'll move back forward and actually take down the Slardar once. Looking towards Ice. He's had his own BKB popped as well. The sleep onto Yuno. He's got to back up on this Slark. Losing a lot of life and jumping in with the Crush. E-Blade nuke down onto the Witch Doctor. They'll lose a second. Hey, they're going to find the Death Prophet as well. Ghosts or not, they do not care. EHOME just moving in for more. Yuno forced back to the base. Crush the bashes into the Air Spirit's face. Double kill for this beyond godlike Timbersaw. And EHOME, they're looking to move just in potential for tier 4s. Now, it looks like they're going to play it, so they'll go for the second set of racks. No GG to be called yet, but it's very close to feeling that way as EHOME, again, just with these team fights, taking so much from iG.V. And look at this. This slug just getting bursted down immediately. Elder Titan Aura. I mean, this hero, I've said it so many times, it's absolutely disgusting. You've got the right combination of heroes, that natural order and a good bit of burst. You know, you're killing down a Slark that arguably isn't the most farmed Slark in the world, but it's still a relatively strong-looking one at 41 minutes in. And EHOME, they're just destroying iG.V at this stage with a net worth lead of reaching 35,000 almost.
Yeah, and I mean, it's hard to actually say who was able to contribute the most. Ice, of course, commits suicide in the middle of base. Doesn't get the chain play. He wanted to chain suicide so he could fly across the map.
So he could fly
but
back immediately.
At least he's right back in with the BOTs. Yeah. But it's really hard to say who is the MVP because their Old Chicken had so many great arrows in the early stage.
I'd probably have to go for it because of the arrows that he did get in the early laning stage.
And that just gave him so much momentum. Of course, Ice had this very unique style that created all this space in the enemy's safe lane. Yeah. And then, of course, he was able to do so much in the team fights in later on thanks to Lanham. So they really just, as a team, as a unit, were able to do so much here. And I got to say that I can't wait to see what these guys bring to the playoffs.
No, this is really strong stuff from EHOME. Absolutely. And as you said, just fighting to the end because this match did mean a lot for iG.V. But unfortunately for them, this defense is not going to be successful. That's the creeps, the Cardis beat down onto the H, and GG is called. EHOME will be your ones to take the victory here and continue to build up their very healthy looking spot now in the regional qualifiers. They now stand 6 wins and 2 losses, which I guess depending on the way the other games are going, is going to put them right up kind of at the second spot next to IG and just below Wings Gaming. So a very, very big good win for EHOME. And as you said, for ig.vitality, the road is starting to look a little bit sketchy now. They're in kind of the danger zone.
Absolutely. vg Gaming is right on their heels. Yeah. We're looking at Wings almost guaranteed to win the first slot and the direct invite to TI through the round-robin group stage. Then we have to be looking at Invictus Gaming, vg.reborn, and EHOME are all pretty much secured the playoff slot. I would actually say that at this point it's impossible for them to lose those slots thanks to this win for EHOME. And then from there, iG.V and vg are the 2 that are going to be battling it out for that last slot. So we'll see how that all pans out, how it shapes down. and get you guys an update for that as when we go into our next game, which I believe should be the vg.r ig.V match. I'll switch over the camera so you can see our ugly mugs once more as we transition out of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in here to the Beyond the Summit hub for the International 6 qualifier of the Chinese region. It's been EHOME versus iG.V, and it's been some incredible Dota here. Thanks once again for tuning in to BTS5. If you enjoyed the commentary, of course, look to follow us at BlazeCasting, at ODPixel on Twitter, and we will see you guys for the next game here in just a few minutes. Thanks.